When scores of people turn up dead in their houses of worship, no one feels safe. Was it an act of God or something more nefarious going on? Let's find out together why these victims were chosen and how they met their deaths. This channel is about lesser known serial killers. If you're interested, I upload new content every Tuesday and Thursday. Well, if you're ready, let's get started. 1999 in the country of India, a 30-year-old woman by the name of Mamatha Rajan was down on her luck emotionally and financially. She went to a local temple in the city of Bangalore for spiritual guidance, hoping that prayer, worship, and positive testimonials from members could help restore her optimistic outlook on her life. When she arrived, the singing and the prayers immediately made her feel good inside. It was a long time since she felt this way, which encouraged her to immerse herself in the temple's congregation. This woman was immediately greeted by a dark-haired, attractive woman who was approximately the same age as her. The young woman also professed to be a member of that temple. The woman formally greeted Mamatha by welcoming her to the temple. A good amount of time passed as they talked with one another, and Mamatha told the other woman about some of the problems that she was facing. The female temple member told Mamatha that she faced some of the same issues in her past, but since she found religion, her life had become exceptionally good. Mamatha no longer felt alone. She actually found someone who could empathize with what she was going through with her life. So the member invited Mamatha to take part in a puja, and she would set up the ceremony for her. For those who are unfamiliar with a puja is a Hindu ceremony that is performed usually in a temple, and it's kind of like paying tribute to God in order for God to bless the worshiper in return. Mamatha's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree, and she enthusiastically accepted. The member went on to tell Mamatha a puja is a very serious ceremony of worship, and it could make or break your blessing. So if she was serious about being committed to this ceremony, she would really need to dress appropriately for it. Mamatha remained undeterred, so the member explained that she should not cut any corners with her clothing, shoes, jewelry, perfume, or even makeup for that matter. The woman stressed to Mamatha that she would not perform the puja if she did not come completely correct. The woman gave the date and time, and Mamatha promised that she would be there. Mamatha and the woman then said their goodbyes to one another and parted from each other. Fast forward several days later, on the date of the event, Mamatha pulled out her best dressed, finest jewelry, expensive makeup, and best pair of shoes. She put it all together and was looking exceptionally good. Arriving early, she met with the woman at the temple, but the ceremonial shrine needed to perform the puja was not complete. She told Mamatha that she had arrived too early and that the display would be completed shortly. Mamatha was told to take a seat and relax, and the woman would leave and return shortly with some snacks for her while she waited. The woman left as Mamatha sat and waited. Approximately a few minutes later, another unidentified temple member came by to worship near the altar. As the woman approached, a woman was seen lying on the floor in between several rows of chairs. When the worshiper approached the woman, it was immediately obvious due to the pale complexion that the woman was dead. The police responded and allegedly found no foul play involved. This left many temple worshippers in disbelief that someone would die in a temple during the course of worship. Although this was just a minority of people, they could not help but think that, was this some type of message from God? The death was attributed to natural causes, so the criminal case was closed. It wasn't until the year of 2007 when the worshippers realized that God played no hand in what was going on in each of the temples within their communities. A 52-year-old woman by the name of Elizabeth was emotionally devastated over her missing grandchild. For weeks, the family of the child had been searching, spreading the word, and handing out pictures for any information about the child. Because of this, Elizabeth was unable to eat, sleep, or function without some answers. The police had no answers for her as well, so now she sought out God's help. So Elizabeth went to the temple daily. She prayed, cried, and begged for a miracle. After several days of this, Elizabeth was found dead inside another temple. Again, the police found no signs of foul play. Since she was obviously physically and emotionally drained due to her missing grandchild, again the authorities labeled her death as natural causes. Over the next 8 weeks, 4 additional women were found deceased in different temples throughout the entire city. Family members of the victims began to share information with one another. They recognized that their loved ones all had one thing in common. They all stated that the women were going through serious life traumas, which is why they went to worship in the first place. They also came forward and stated that all of the victims' jewelry that they were last seen wearing was missing. The family believed that the authorities had stolen the deceased women's jewelry and would not thoroughly investigate their deaths due to this. This was until an anonymous tip was called into the authorities about a woman who was en route to sell a bunch of stolen jewelry, and she could be found right now waiting for a bus at the local bus stop. The police located and detained a woman that was found to be in possession of several pieces of jewelry that were all linked to the deceased women. The woman was identified as Katie Kampama. She was brought into the police department for an interview, and she confessed to all the murders. Katie admitted to preying upon women that attended these temples who were emotionally distraught over something. She would then set up a Puja ceremony in order to help them. As they waited, she would then poison them with cyanide mixed in holy water or snacks, so she would then steal their valuables after they died. Family members of the deceased believed that Katie was linked to additional murders, but the authorities only had enough evidence to charge her with 6 homicides. Katie was given a death sentence, which was commuted to life imprisonment. If you enjoy more stories such as these, click on one of the suggested videos above. God bless and stay safe.